It's enough of that.
Okay.
That's
All
enough
right.
of that.
Sorry. Star Wars Month!
Great. My poor microphone can only take so much, Daddy. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Star Wars Month. I'm Kristen.
I'm Randy.
And we are in the midst of our month-long celebration of that galaxy far, far away.
Week to week to week to week to maybe one more week.
Possibly some bonus episodes along the way. Today, we are talking about some Star Wars shows. If you clicked on this video, then you probably already know what we're doing. We are reviewing the shows The Acolyte and The Skeleton Crew. These shows are both very different. Let's start right there. These shows are in two completely different genres. And we're going to start with The Acolyte. Now, the Acolyte is strange. Not necessarily because of its content. I mean, we've done the witches and the weird and all that crap before, but the Acolyte seems to be going out of its way to make the Jedi look worse than they already did from the prequel era and somewhat in the Clone Wars era, as well as not delivering at all what everybody thought the Acolyte was going to be.
Therein lies the problem. Whenever they started talking about the Acolyte, we were really hoping to see the beginnings of the Sith. We were beginning to flesh out some of this incredible Star Wars lore and history, and it just fell flat.
Yeah, the most we got of what we thought we were going to be expecting, especially given the fact that it's 100 years before the Skywalker saga. If they had said it 1,000 years, because we know that Star Wars reaches back into that time. If they had said it during the Knights of the Republic era, or even further back during the Sith Wars, which is where a lot of us thought it was going to wind up, I think it would have been better. But they only said it 100 years before. So when that was announced, everybody's like, oh, we're going to see Darth Plagueis the Wise and the beginnings of Sidious's training. Nope. We get a 3-second glimpse of Darth Plagueis the Wise at the very end.
And it was unfulfilling.
And here's the thing. The only reason I know that was Darth Plagueis the Wise is because I have seen pictures of him in other Star Wars related YouTube videos. Dad had no clue who that guy in the cave was.
And see, if you're a casual Star Wars fan, which I am, I'm not this diehard comic book. I've got to consume everything. I love the films. I love Rebels. I love Clone Wars. I like most of the TV shows and accessory movies. Adore Bad Batch. Kind of digging Andor really, really well. Season 2
should have come out in April.
Should have come out.
We're filming this a little early, so it's not released.
It's okay. So we've got all of this incredible Star Wars content, and the Acolyte, honestly, is the absolute worst entry into any of it. I mean, it's worse than Boba Fett. It's worse than that. I mean, it's just bad because it got elevated to being this. We're going to find out all the answers to all the questions that we ever wondered about the Sith. And then it really just
gave us nothing.
Gave us absolutely nothing.
I will say this. The acting is on point.
And the lightsaber duels.
The lightsaber duels were incredible. Those were probably some of the most brutal but awesome duels. As much as I hate to say it, the Massacre of the Jedi by Quimir, played by Manny Jacinto, was amazing. And I do like a lot of the characters that they introduced to us. I loved Master Soul, played by Lee Jung-jae. I'm sorry if I did not pronounce that correctly. Yord and Jecki, played by Charlie Barnett and Daphne Keane, who is X-23, respectively. Those characters were so cool and so interesting. And then they died. Those two died in like the 3rd episode.
And
we were left with Master Soul being forced to lie to May/Osha, played by Amandla Stenberg, forced to lie to these girls because, heaven forbid, the Jedi of any of the Jedi Council be honest.
It was disjointed. It did not do what it was purported it was going to be doing. It really, really felt like they'd pulled the rug out from underneath us and had hooked us up onto this pyramid scheme.
Yeah.
Kristen's absolutely right. The acting was good. The storylines were engaging-ish, but they just didn't take us anywhere. They didn't fill in gaps that we were hoping it would fill in. As a standalone show, it's still pretty bad, but it was an entry that needed to happen so Star Wars fans could express their disdain for what they did and communicate what we're wanting.
And I mean, they succeeded. The Acolyte is the first show of the Star Wars run to get an official cancellation.
Right. They've not
Obi-Wan
Obi-Wan never got
and
a cancellation.
neither did Boba Fett.
Right, right.
So while neither of those shows have received a renewal, neither has the other show we're going to talk about today. They never got canceled.
Right,
like
right.
the Acolyte did.
Right.
So it again, I don't hate the Acolyte. I
do.
I feel like more could have been done with it.
I hold it in the highest disregard.
I feel like we had the potential, especially with these characters. I think Quymere is a very interesting bad guy. I think Quymere is what Ben Solo wishes he was. Since it was set so close to the prequels,
Right.
they put themselves in an unnecessary box.
They really did hamstring themselves.
They put themselves in an unnecessary box. And the bad thing is, I know there is good source material. There's a video game that I have heard is amazing. I think it's called Knights of the Old Republic. Please correct me if I'm wrong. That is basically the Jedi and Sith Wars. There's a whole freaking battle set in a Jedi temple. That is what we thought the Acolyte was going to be. Personally, I believed that the Acolyte was going to be set mostly in a Jedi temple with this young woman getting trained by Soul. Let's just go with the characters we got, getting pulled away by the Sith and helping usher in this time of upheaval. I legit thought it was almost going to be like Yoda telling the younglings a cautionary tale.
Well,
and that's not what it turned out. This literally made the Sith look like the better choice because the Jedi are framed as the bad guys.
And I think, yes, and I think that's one of the biggest hangups with the Acolytes. It really turned upside down all the thought processes that you had from all the rest of the Star Wars universe, where the Jedi were the good guys, the Sith were the bad guys. I didn't have any problem showing where the Jedi had issues.
Yeah, we knew they had
making them out to be completely the bad guy and the Sith being so overly sympathetic. That kind of goes against the grain for Star Wars as a universe.
So again, I don't hate it, but I do not like it all. I tolerate it.
What do you think? Let us know what you think about the Acolyte.
Out of 10, I think I give the Acolyte a 3 as like a star rating. You give it an absolute. There's no redemption, not even with the good acting and lightsaber fights.
0.
Not even for the cool lightsabers.
Because it does not make any sense.
It's just a spectacle.
It's why lightsabers without a story?
This is true. All right, now on to something a little bit.
The flip side.
Now on to something a little bit more positive. The Skeleton Crew. This is how you do a standalone show, ladies and gentlemen.
This is how you do. The casting was superb. The acting was good.
The kids were precious.
One problem I have.
Before your problem. This is basically Goonies in space. This is also kind of Treasure Planet. And I absolutely love it for that because Treasure Planet, as we've established, is one of my favorite Disney movies.
And The Goonies is one of those iconic films that really didn't do great at the box office when it came out. It did very, very well, don't get me wrong. But it has gotten and taken on its own
cult following
just because of its outstanding cast, who are all adult actors now.
And a few of them are now Oscar winners.
Right, absolutely.
Sorry. But the cast, let's talk about them for a short minute before we get to the thing we both have against the Skeleton Crew. Jude Law, delicious bad guy.
He's fantastic.
He's delicious. And I love that we do kind of keep him ambiguous because, yes, he is the bad guy, but he also did spare them. He's definitely a pirate, a la Jack Sparrow, with a bit of Jedi training. He's
Without
not
doubt.
quite that wobbly. That's a different pirate that we're going to talk about here in a minute. All of the kids, Fern played by Ryan Kira Armstrong, KB played by Karina Crater, Neil, who was my favorite, played by Robert Timothy Smith, and Wim played by Ravi Cabot Conyers. They were all so precious and did such a good job.
That the endearing part of it was the kids, and they played so well off of Jude Law, and they brought balance to the force, and they're good to his anti-bad ish.
Anti-villain.
Anti-villain. If you've not seen Skeleton Crew, we won't give too much of it away, but it is as bad as the Acolyte was. This is good.
And it's not officially been canceled, but it had worse numbers than the Acolyte.
Which is very, very surprising because it was a much, much production-wise, storyline, every aspect of it was just so far superior to anything that the Acolyte had.
And this is something you can safely watch with your kids. There
Yes.
is some frightening imagery, but there is nothing to the level of Acolyte.
Nothing.
Now, for the one thing we have against
This is the only thing that keeps the Skeleton Crew from getting a 10.
So, as we said, the main bad guy is a pirate. A lot of this show centers around piracy.
Pirate!
And yet, someone was mysteriously absent.
Hondo!
Do not give me his ship was at that area.
I mean, I saw online somebody had circled, that's Hondo's ship. We kept waiting. We kept waiting. Just give us a cameo.
And do not come at me with, well, the makeup's too hard to do. Bull crap.
Oh, Kristen.
Bull. Because I saw several of his species in the show.
Well, it's one of those rare misses with the Skeleton Crew. They had such an opportunity there that they could have. We don't know how old Hondo is. We're not sure even where the Skeleton Crew was set.
But we know for a fact because of Disney canon comics that Hondo survives to the time of The Last Jedi. To my knowledge, this is set around the same time Mandalorian, Boba Fett. We're still in the high or the New Republic era.
That is true. The New Republic. We are in the New
Still
Republic
in
era.
the New Republic era. The First Order has not taken over. Hondo may be old, ladies and gentlemen, but Hondo is alive.
So it was just very, very disappointing. In a show that purported pirates, you didn't have some of our favorite pirates from Clone Wars.
I mean, it is just the most, like, I mean, I feel the same way about the pirate bits in Mandalorian. The pirates were literally attacking the home base, as I like to call it, the home planet, the planet we kind of come to call home, with Apollo Creed as its magistrate, and you didn't let that be Hondo? Why not? Hondo goes about attacking people all the time. He smells profit.
You let Cad Bane come back, but you didn't let Hondo?
And honestly, do the same exact thing you did with Cad. Put somebody else in the makeup, get Jim Cummings while he is still alive to do it, to do the voice, and we're good. We don't need him to take up a whole episode. We don't even need him to take up half an episode. Hondo needs only one scene to make his presence felt.
And hence our Hondo rant. Acolyte?
The Skeleton Crew, I give it a solid 9.
9.64732.
You got very specific with that.
Hondo would have made it a 10.
Hondo probably would have brought it up to at least a 9.7.
And that's our review of 2 of the newest Star Wars shows just for Star Wars month here at Crossing Ken.
Again, this is our opinion.
Our opinions.
If you loved The Acolyte, explain why. Maybe you can
help us
understand. Maybe we just didn't get it. Maybe it was over our heads. If you hated Skeleton Crew, please tell us why. What did these kids do to you?
We're just not sure why you would hate that. Unless, I mean, if you haven't seen either of them, definitely go watch them both. They are both worthy of being watched.
Mhm.
Just for
Even though he gave it
sheer
a 0.
exactly. Even though I gave it a 0, go and watch The Acolyte because it is part of Star Wars. It is a part of the universe now. And so maybe somewhere, some way in the galaxy far, far away, we'll get an explanation.
For all whatever all that was.
Acolyte,
Skeleton
Skeleton
Crew?
Crew? Oh yeah, without doubt.
We love Skeleton Crew, and the Acolyte's just a rare miss for the Filoni era. And who knows? Maybe we're about to get a whole new era. Kathleen Kennedy is stepping down as the head of Star Wars. Who knows? Let us know. Maybe by the time this comes out, the new head will have been announced. I mean, it is May. I guarantee you they will announce it in May.
Yeah.
Because May the 4th
We'll
be with
probably
you.
get this before we'll get the next Bond.
We'll see. But that is our review. And until next time, I'm Kristen.
I'm Randy. Until next week, we are so glad that you're part of the family here at Crossing Kin.
May the force be with you.
Later.
Bye.